So there's the Queen Victoria, and we're just coming into whatever port this is. I have no idea what the name is. Hi guys, welcome back to Sim UK, and of course welcome back to Fishing Barents Sea. Now it's been about a week since I played on this Let's Play series, and this game is, let me tell you now, the developers, by the way, no video cam today just because, the developers are working extremely hard, fixing bugs, making changes that have been suggested by the community, and just working flat out. Last night there was an update of 3.5 gig. Now admittedly it did turn everything into German, but it was an easy fix, and that's going to be resolved way before release date. If you're German, you're probably not even bothered by that. But this is where we used to crash every single time, but now I'm pretty confident that we can sell our fish and we keep the mouse. So everything's fixed. Losing the mouse doesn't happen anymore, so that's all good. My boat is getting the living daylights smashed out of it still. This bit's still a bit too aggressive. Look at this. Bonk, bonk. Right, so for this episode, what I really want to do is just really start expanding and exploring this game. I've taken two of the biggest ships out, and now I'm really excited to upgrade in this Let's Play series, upgrade to the next biggest thing. Have we got a line out? Oh crikey, we do. Look at that. It's only been out for 2 hours and 1 minute though, so it's not exactly a big deal. 33,000 krona in the bank. Can we get any updates? Upgrades rather. Upgrade the hull. It's now at 2% damage. What's happened there? Why has that gone up by 1%? So the maximum storage we can have is 95k. So if we get one decent haul, we should be able to afford that. Okay, so what I'm going to do then, let's look at this. Let's go to the map, and we're going to... Are we looking for pollock or haddock? Haddock season has just started. The local government wants to increase production at local fisheries, blah, 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 blah. So haddock then. We'll stick with haddock. How are we doing? Oh, look, we're nearly upgraded to the next boat. We're nearly there, guys. So haddock look like that, with the dots down the side. So let's get the two lines that we've got hooked up. So that's haddock. That's the orange one, isn't it? So no wonder I've been catching so much pollock. I've been getting the wrong bait on the line. What a fool. Okay, so we're looking for the orange, so that's no good. That's average, that's no good. So it's either this one or this one. I'm going to go for crab then. Let's go for crab on both of these. Okay, so we've still got 31,000 in the bank. That's pretty decent, I suppose. We could buy another 500 line and bait that with crab as well, and then we could really hook it out there. We could really throw them out, couldn't we? Okay, good. So we're going for haddock now. Let's go to the map and we'll look for haddock. So I want to drop one there. I want to drop one here, and I probably want to drop one there. Now that's going to take me a long time to get to. So I'm hoping in today's episode we'll drop 3 lines, come and pick this 500 back, pick up the next one, pick up the next one, pick up the next one. Something like that. Or maybe I should go to the end one first. Go to the furthest one away and drop it, and then come back to the smaller ones. Let's be more careful. Because basically, I just want to get to the point where we've got enough money to get the next upgrade, and then we can go as far as we like. Although we can't get a freezer, so I mean we do have to consider that. And we haven't got much fuel at the moment either. Okay, so we're going to do this today. Let's go fishing. See if I can get off this flipping port without smashing my boat to bits. Oh, it's been about a week since I've been in this boat. Feels a little bit odd. I'm speeding, but as far as I know, they haven't introduced those speeding fines yet, so I should be okay. So here's our first marker. Looks like it's going to be foggy today. Yeah, it's got really foggy out there. That's the Queen Victoria. I know that because I was trying to damage and sink a boat the other day, and it was completely impermeable to damage. I even drove into that. I even drove straight into the Queen Vic, and it didn't work. No damage could be done for whatever reason. Right, I am going to do this in reverse. I've changed my mind. 1, 2, 3. That's what we're going to do today. Taking great care, of course, to not go over my own line. Although I've made quite a few suggestions for this game. One of the suggestions I made was to have, if you go over your line, you should foul your prop and destroy your line, lose your catch and the line in its entirety. That hasn't been implemented yet, as far as I know, but I think it's coming. And I've also asked for in first person, so if we go to third person here, you can see at the top we've got this like compass marker that just helps us sort of know where our next marker is, etc. Well, I don't think that's needed there because we've got the map, but in first person view that would be extremely handy. So I have recommended that they consider swapping that round, and I think they're going to. We should just be coming past our line here somewhere. Let me just stand up and have a look out. There it is. There's our line. We'll be coming back to pick that up in a minute. Although the last time we picked up a line from there were no fish on it whatsoever. So yeah, a little bit concerned about that. This GPS thing, I've asked for that to be improved. Possibly zoom's coming. Zoom's coming for first person. That's another suggestion I made that they actually have agreed to implement. They obviously like that idea. So you'll be able to scroll forward and scroll backwards to zoom in and look at your dials and stuff. Because if you look at that now, with the light shining off it, it's a little bit difficult to see at times. And this doesn't update either. I think that's being changed. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed, but the entire game is here. There are some tutorials that have gone up. I think that's part of the 3.5 gig update that went up yesterday or last night. But what's interesting is, I've not noticed this before, if I scroll in here and go outside, you can see I'm fully zoomed in. So if I scroll out now, you can see I'm fully scrolled out. So I'd say that was probably a bug, and I ought to let them know about that. Is that our marker there? Where are we going? 1, 2 or 3? We're going to 1, aren't we, obviously? But 1's a long way over there, 1.9 kilometres. Okay. I'll see you when we get there, I guess. So it looks as though it's just started raining. That should theoretically, possibly... Whoa, 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 what's this? What's this? Oh, where am I going to go? Are these killer whales or are these whale whales? Did you see him just blowing his... I can't remember what they're called. Foghorn. That's kind of cool. It is kind of cool. I think a little bit more could be done with that animation. That's just me being picky now. The first time I saw it I was like, wow, that is awesome. But they're a little bit wooden, to be fair. They could do with loosening up a tad, I think. Alright, so we're actually going to use the sonar this time for the first time to try and locate some fish. We're still about 900 meters out from our chosen pinpoint location. So anywhere around here we should be seeing some kind of fish movement. Now this game comes with an advanced fish AI and spawning logic on the back of that. Now I'm not even going to pretend to understand what that means. I have been provided with a link that I could go and investigate and actually learn about that subject, and that's what the developer has actually done. He went away and he did his research, and then he's coded the game so that the fish behave in the suggested scientific manner, which is absolutely awesome. And it just goes to show how in-depth the guys have really gone in this game, and they have. In certain areas, certainly, they have... Oh, we've got one fishy. In certain areas, they have certainly gone to town on it. Some redfish. Redfish, incidentally, is not a fish that you find in the UK very often, if ever. But if you were to go over to the European continent, and there's some fishy wishies there, could have grabbed them, I suppose. If you go over to the continent, to France or Spain, you'll find redfish is pretty prominent over there. Quite an effective fish. I guess it goes kind of pink in colour when it's cooked, and yeah, you'd likely find it in paella. I don't know what they'd make in France, but certainly, there's our marker, look. Certainly in Spain, I'd expect to see that in paella. So anyway, right. Okay, so we've got a little bit of something there. Not great, is it? But we're going to have to drop a line. Let's go 500 deep. I think we got tangled up. Are we going to be okay? Seem to be struggling a bit there. Yeah, we seem okay now. Okay, good. So we're starting to lay line. And it's always a good idea to lay line first. Don't collect fish. So if you're putting another line down where you had one earlier, my recommendation is drop your line first and then pick your fish up, because your boat will travel so slowly when it's fully laden. It's unbelievable, as you've seen in my previous videos. Right, okay, let's turn around, full steam ahead, go and find our second marker to drop a fish. It is quite foggy out here. Another thing that's coming, by the way, guys, is lit up beacons, or light up beacons that light up on your buoys. As I've been corrected, they're not buoys, they're buoys. So yeah, there'll be little light up buoys out there so that you can see them when it's dark and when it's foggy, which is, again, it's not a bug, it's just a suggestion from the community, and the developers have taken it on board. Misc Games, and they're going to implement it, and I think they're going to implement it. Don't quote me on this, and don't get angry with them if they haven't. But I think they're going to implement that for release day. So I mean, that would be pretty awesome, would it not? Okay, so we're just coming up to our second marker, which, if memory serves, was not in what you would call a hot spot. Just kind of a meek spot, if anything. A lukewarm spot, at best. Apparently it's just 400 meters in front of us, but I can't see it. Ah, nice. We just popped out the other side of the fog there for a minute. Hopefully we'll find... No, back into the fog almost immediately. Where is this marker then? I can't see it anywhere. 200 metres to go. 150 metres. We're right on it, but I can't see it at all. Ah, there she is. Spotted her at last. Looks like we got some fishy wishies underneath. So let's drop our speed. Drop our next line, 250 marker. So I'm going to drop off and then pick up the 500. Now, because of where I've positioned that, I'm a bit sceptical as to whether or not I'm going to get any fish. I dropped a line there just in the previous episode. 2 lines there, in fact. One was a decent haul, the other one, nothing at all. I'm tempted to drop it early, but we did place the marker right on the hotspot. And I'm a bit anti the hotspot. I'd rather just go out into the middle of the ocean, pick somewhere, and then if it's good, mark it on my GPS and come back to it another time, rather than knowing exactly where the fish are all the time. Kind of takes the fun out of it. A bit like doing a puzzle, but all the pieces are already put together for you. Not quite so fun. So there's our marker, and that is a good spot. Look at that. Look how many fish we got there. Boom. Okay, so that 250 line there should do us proud. And now I've just got to figure out where I put that 500 line. Let's bring up the GPS. Right, so we're over here somewhere. This weather's a real pain in the backside. So basically what the map is doing here is what the GPS should be doing in first person view. But for some reason it isn't. Apparently it's right next to us. Oh, there it is. I see you. I see you. In all honesty, I would be just playing in first person mode if I felt it was actually feasible to do so. Let's haul the gear in. Forgot about this bit. Oh, wasn't ready for that one. Wasn't feeling ready. Well, the good news is it's not empty, so that is good. That is positive stuff. To be fair, I forgot to check how long the line had been down. I've probably picked this up too early. But, you know, we're here. We've got nothing else to do. So it kind of makes sense that I pull this in. Because if I'm not pulling this in, then I'm just going back to shore. Yeah, well, that was short, wasn't it? 146 pollock, 75 haddock, and 14 redfish. Oh gosh, I'd forgotten about this bit as well. Now, people seem to be quite torn with this. They're kind of like... It's a bit too arcadey. B, it shouldn't be as hard as it appears to be. And C, I suppose what some of you might not realise is that when you sort of upgrade to your next boat and you get crew, they'll be doing this. So it's only really on this first boat. Jeepers creepers, that was a terrible one. It's only really on this first boat where that's an issue. So we've got 2 boxes there. That's not great off a 500 line, I've got to say. That's not going to impress me one iota. Let's get ourselves back to shore. Okay, good job I checked, because that's not where the port is. I would have figured that out eventually, because there's the fuel carrier over there. Incidentally, these AI ships are going to be sailing around. Probably not on release, I think, is the general consensus, but pretty soon after. So it's going to make the whole game feel more alive and more exciting. I, for one, would love it if they could multiplayer this. That would be sensational, but yeah, I think that would just be too much now that they've built this, they've kind of got a foundation. So Fishing Barents Sea, or maybe a different ocean, or maybe fishing the world, who knows what version 2 might bring, I think that's when you could most likely expect to see some multiplayer inclusion. But yeah, I mean, even though this doesn't have multiplayer, I still think it's a fantastic game. It's got so much content. It's really fun. If you're into this kind of thing, it's really fun. It really is. And it looks lovely. So let's just swing round here and unlock this one over here because, well, it's the closest one, and I think we might be able to unlock some jobs if we just go and unlock a new port. I can barely see. I can't see when I look that way, but if I look this way, it's fine. So I just have to drive out of one eye. I guess the weather engine could do with an update. Another suggestion that was made by a viewer of mine actually was windscreen wipers and ocean spray on the windows, like droplets and so on and so forth. Now that's not going to do a lot for your FPS, but my goodness me, I mean, if they could put something together that looked something like Flight Sim World, and I'm not a big fan of Flight Sim World, but the droplets that they have on the windows are pretty amazing, I've got to say. Their entire weather engine is pretty spectacular overall. If they got one thing right, then it's that. But yeah, we'll leave that conversation there, I think. Wow, I didn't think it would take this long to get to the port. This is a slow journey. So there's the Queen Victoria, and we're just coming into whatever port this is. I have no idea what the name is. Can't see the marker because it's too foggy, but well, nothing's popped up. Nothing has popped up. That's jolly odd, isn't it? Let me just look at my map. That is an undiscovered location. Oh, it's further on. It's all the way down there. I thought it was this big bit here. Alrighty, press on. Hammerfest Centrum discovered. Excellent. Where do I pull in? Oh, just here. Would you like to sell your catch at the local market? Yes, I would. Sell. 24,984 kroner. And there we are. Just getting yanked into the dock now. So I'm probably going to have to reverse out of here, I think, is probably the most logical. Now you see that old rickety boat there? This thing? I think, this is another suggestion I've made, I think it would be great if they had some really old fishing boats and in sort of second-hand condition. So you pick them up and they're not in great condition and they do need some maintenance and they haven't got everything unlocked and so on and so on and so on. I think that would add a really nice extra element to the game. Bit of an economic challenge. Plus you get these really old sort of rickety boats that were unreliable, and that would add a new set of challenges for you as well. I also think you ought to be able to sell your own boat, but that's just me.